To emphasize how important it is to be extremely thorough in system testing and how hard it is to think of all the different details, let's consider the F22 Raptor dateline incident. The F-22 at the time was the pride of the U.S. Air Force. It cost $360 million per aircraft. And in February 2007, the first deployment was made to Japan. They flew a half dozen aircraft across the ocean, across the dateline, to get to Japan. Fortunately, they had some tankers with them because when they crossed the dateline, the computers crashed. The planes had crashed computers, they had no navigation, they had no communications, they had no fuel management. The only thing that was still working was the fly-by-wire system. So they were able to fly, but they couldn't communicate, they couldn't do anything else. They were able to visually follow the tankers back to Hawaii, and they got lucky. They were able to have enough fuel that they could land. If there had been poor visibility or something had gone wrong, the pilots would have had to eject and they could have lost all 6 aircraft. The cause was said to be, well, quote, it was a computer glitch in the million lines of code. Somebody made an error in a couple lines of code and everything goes. Well, that's a pretty standard problem with embedded systems, which is why we worry about quality so much. Now, should they have found that in system testing? Well, it turns out there was a related kind of problem seen in the F-16 in earlier years. And the F-16, originally, when it would cross the equator, it would flip upside down and fly inverted. That was said to be found in simulation. Now, there's some question about whether this is an urban legend or not, but pretty much any aircraft designer who did this kind of testing had heard about the F-16 crossing the equator. And so they should have been thinking about things like geographic issues. They should have been thinking about the dateline if they were thinking about the equator, but somehow that got past them. And this was a real world incident that fortunately did not result in loss of life, but could have gone south pretty easily. Think about all the weird edge cases your system is going to see and make sure you hit them in system testing.